Good morning, everyone. Hope that you've had a good weekend and are ready for a good workout. We will start with some of that jumping, which that pounding is good for osteoporosis. So if you do have osteoporosis, do make sure that you snack on a little bit of jumping each day. If you do feel a bit unsteady, hold on to a chair when you're jumping. So we will start off with that. But I do also want to draw some attention to the pelvic floor. Often I talk about it when we are doing abdominals. I will say engage through the pelvic floor, but are you really doing it? So today I want you to make sure that you are, so concentrating on that. And we will also lie on the floor to do arm exercises, and so that'll be at the end of the class. So you can, when we're lying down, we can use some heavier weights. So you can run off and grab some heavier weights quickly. Good. All right, let's get started. Standing spine roll. So tripod with the feet. Make sure that your knees are soft and that you are beelining. So deep breath in, grow taller. Breathing out, chin to chest, peel the spine off that imaginary wall. Deep breath in to hold, crown of the head to the floor. Beeline, breathing out, use the abdominals to support your spine and uncurl to the upright. And again, deep breath in, grow taller, breathing out, chin to chest and roll it down. Notice how far down you are reaching. Beeline, use the abdominals from halfway up, tuck with the pelvis, squeeze the core to the upright. And last one, breathe in, grow taller, breathing out, chin to chest and roll it down. Notice how far you are reaching. Beeline, use the abdominals, uncurling to the upright. So we will do that jumping now. There are a few different options for your jumping. So if you're not used to the jumping, a little bit worried about it, you can hold on to the chair and just either jump both feet together like that, or you can even hold on that way and do some jumping just up and down. Or you can choose to do one leg at a time. So I'm hoping you can hear my pounding through the floor here. Or you can choose to jump from side to side. So get some pounding, but make sure that you are still landing ball of the foot and then heel down. It's guaranteed to warm you up a little bit as well. So it's a bit like skipping. Get that pounding through your backs. All right, so you can snack on that at any time. Getting that, it also warms you up. Before we go down to the floor, we're going to do a pec stretch. So just with those shoulders, try and get that forearm upright. So as opposed to being like that, wrist above the elbow when you do your pec stretch. So elbow a little higher than the shoulder, back behind your torso, feet to the center of the room, leaning forwards into that stretch. So looking forwards, relax your shoulder, no hunching. Turn the feet towards the wall, easing the arm off, and over onto the other side. Be careful to keep that forearm upright, feet to the center, and leaning into your stretch. Turn the feet towards the wall and easing that arm off. We'll bring it down to the floor. So hamstring stretch, you can use your band. So if you do have a sore neck, please get that towel behind your head. And you will think that I would have got used to it by now, but no, I need to bring this in a little closer. All right. So hamstring stretch, pop the band wide around the forefoot of your right foot. Make sure that your foot is flat as if you're trying to balance a book on top of your foot. Pressing up with the heel, down with the hip, bend the elbows, pull your knee towards your shoulder. Make sure that your chin is tucked in and that your shoulder blades are pressed into the floor. Nice deep breaths, consciously relaxing that stretch muscle. Hold your forefoot down, putting it into the hamstring and also into your calf as you pull your forefoot down. Now still on that same leg, we'll stretch through the IT band. If you do have a hip replacement, just stick with this one. Don't bring the leg across the body. So turn your foot out, lead with your heel, bringing that leg across your body, still keeping that buttock pressed into the floor. And keep that leg pulled in towards your chest. Don't let it start to sag down. So stretching on the outside of the leg, the IT band. Bring the leg back to the center, bend your left knee, allow both knees to flop out to the side, stretching through your inner thigh. Push out through your right heel, equal pressure through onto the buttocks. And changing sides, so hamstring stretch. And wide around your forefoot. If you don't have that band, remember hold behind your thigh or interlink your fingers behind your calf. So pressing up with the heel, down with the hip, bend the elbows, knee towards your shoulder. Pull your forefoot down. Nice deep breaths, get the breath to the base of the lungs and concentrate on relaxing through those stretch muscles. So now the IT band, if you've got a hip replacement, keep with that hamstring. Otherwise, right leg out straight, lead with your heel, turn the foot out, bring that leg across your body. Still keeping that left buttock pressed onto the floor, so not lifting that off. Be down to keep your pelvis stable. Ease the leg back to the center, bend your right knee, and allow both knees to flop out to the side. Push out through your left heel. Equal pressure through onto the buttocks. Flop that right knee to the side as well. Push through the heel, try and straighten your knee. Ease the leg back to the center. Left foot on right knee. Hold either behind your thigh. If you want that firmer stretch, hold in front of your right knee. Hugging that thigh towards your chest. And try dropping that right knee towards the right hand side. Just looking for that firmer stretch through into your left buttock. Remember those nice deep breaths, getting the breath to the base of the lungs. And concentrate on relaxing those stretch muscles. And compare left and right side. If you're particularly tight on one side, make sure that you do that side again. Changing sides. So holding behind that left thigh or in front of the left knee, hugging the thigh to your chest. And try dropping that left knee a little to the left hand side, just looking for that firmer stretch into your right buttock. Still keeping the chin tucked in and shoulder blades pressed to the floor. And easing out of that, and now your thigh stretch. So rely over onto our sides. So you hold upper body in a straight line, that bottom leg way forwards, hips vertically stacked. Bring that leg forwards, holding onto your heel. Drop the knee down to the level of the hip. Make sure that you are tucking with your pelvis. Lock your pelvis and pull the knee back and behind your torso. So make sure you are maintaining your pelvic tilt. So your lower back should be flattened and not arched. So you should feel no discomfort in the lower back. All the discomfort and stretch should be into your thigh. Make sure the knee is not up there. Drop it down and pull back and behind. You're trying to get a 9 out of 10 of stretch into that thigh. And get the heel to touch the buttock. Try and inch that knee back a little further. But tuck with the pelvis. The tummy muscles have to work through it. And easing out of that. So just remembering that pelvic tilt throughout. So your bottom leg way forwards, heel to the buttock, knee to the level of the hip, and pulling that knee back and behind your torso. Check that your hips are vertically stacked and maintain that pelvic tilt throughout. Make sure your head is resting comfortably on your arm and you are looking forwards. No need to crunch in and look towards that leg. And easing out of that. And we're just going to do a downward dog to stretch out through the calves. If you do have sore shoulders, please go against the wall again. If you are against the wall, we will just elbows resting at shoulder level. Make sure that back foot is straight line from the crown of the head to your back heel. Otherwise, a downward dog. So wrists in underneath your shoulders, knees are in underneath the hips. Remember to spread your fingers wide. Whenever your hands are on the floor, fingers nice and wide. Also pressing those fingertips into the floor. Tuck your toes and push back. We will slowly alternate with one leg at a time. Check that your feet are nice and straight and you have the weight more on the little toe side of your foot. Slowly alternating with those legs and press the tailbone towards the back wall. Now pushing down with both. So weight on the little toe side of the foot, knees as straight as possible, and try to get your heels as flat on the floor as possible. Tuck your chin in, look towards your knees, push away with your hands. And easing out of that, just give your wrists a little shake. And we're practically in the hover position, so let's just get on with it and start with that. So now, as I mentioned before, we're concentrating on making sure that we are actually engaging through the pelvic floor. So if in the hover position you're on your toes, you are not managing to engage through the pelvic floor, drop back to the knees again. Make sure that you are engaging through it before you lift onto the toes again. So if you need to, just drop back to that easier variation for today. We are aiming for our 2-minute hover. So make sure that you are in this starting position, which is also the easier position. Elbows in underneath your shoulders, forearms are parallel. Look for that second hand. So it's all in that tuck of the pelvis. Keep your hips up at shoulder height, tuck your toes, lift it and hold it. So nice straight line with the body. Now concentrate on your breathing. Breathe in for a count of 4. Slow breath out for a count of 6. Breathe all the air out, squeezing the core as well as drawing upwards with the pelvic floor. So now if you are not managing to engage through that pelvic floor, go back to your easier position and make sure that you can engage through the pelvic floor on that breath out. Neck in line with the rest of the spine. So keep that deep, slow breathing flowing throughout, and it's on your breath out. Squeeze the core as well as drawing upwards with the pelvic floor. Shoulders pressed away from your ears. Keep maintaining your pelvic tilt. That is already a minute, just 1 to go. Deep, slow breaths. Pinching the buttocks will give you more stability. Keep your hips up at shoulder height. Make sure you're not starting to sag down, and make sure that you are feeling the tummy and not your lower back. If you are feeling your lower back, tuck under with the tailbone more and check that your hips are remaining at shoulder height. Don't let those hips starting to dip down. Got less than 30 seconds left. You're on the home run. But make sure that you are still engaging through the pelvic floor on that breath out. Release it gently and push back into rest position. So if you do have sore knees, remember rest position. You can lie on your back and hug your knees to your chest. Otherwise, make sure that your knees are wide. Flatten your spine and sink your chest down low. Try to straighten your elbows. You get that stretching through your shoulders as well. And we are now on our backs, for side to side. So think of flexibility first. So we'll keep the feet resting on the floor. And then you've got the option of lifting the legs or keeping the feet on the floor if your back is sore. So arms around shoulder level, make sure they're not up there, just at shoulder level. Your shoulder blade should be pressed flat into the floor. Feet are close to the buttocks. Relax the legs over to the side as low as you can for that lower back. Then squeeze core and pelvic floor and inner thighs to lift the legs. So make sure you are engaging through that pelvic floor. Push through with the hips. Squeeze core and inner thighs and pelvic floor. 3 things to think of as you lift those legs. Push through with the hips. Turn to look towards the fingers of the opposite hand. Tap with the pelvis, bringing those legs back up again. Breathing out to lower and a deep breath in to lift. Now either continue with that or lifting the legs for more of a challenge. So knees in line with the belly button, feet lifted higher than the knees. Take the legs halfway to make it easier or as low as you can. Your opposite shoulder remains flat for a challenge. Squeezing core and inner thighs and pelvic floor as you lift. Breathing out to lower and a deep breath in to lift. It's a flowing movement, so you're not holding for any length of time. You are breathing out to lower and breathing in to raise. If you would like to work a little harder, arms to your sides and get your feet up above your hips. Feet flexed and toes together, heels apart. The pendulum, take the legs as low to the side as you can. Your shoulders still remains flat. Squeezing core, inner thighs and pelvic floor as you raise. Breathing out to lower, deep breath in to lift. So you've got 3 different variations there. Whichever one you are doing, making sure as you lift those legs back up again, you are using the abdominals and the pelvic floor as you raise. Nice deep breaths, doing it in time with your breathing. Breathing out as you lower and a deep breath in as you lift. Maureen, flex those feet. Breathing out to lower and a deep breath in as you raise. And Sue, do you like this one more than you like the corkscrew? Once you back up, hug your knees to the chest. Just rock those knees in. And we'll do heel taps. So it's all about keeping your pelvis stable. So we're not wanting the pelvis to move around. We're wanting to stabilize the pelvis using those abdominals, and we're simply tapping with the legs. Okay, so you have your attention on the abdominals to keep yourself stable. And you don't need to touch the floor. You take the feet down as low to the floor as you can, where your back is not arching. Just first of all, lift up, move those buttock muscles out the way, and tuck with the pelvis. Now, knees in line with the belly button, calves parallel to the floor. Keep the same bend in the knee, and you're simply hinging from your hip joint. So at the moment, you're not straightening that leg out, because as you can see, it's more challenging. So just stick with the easier one for the moment. Shoulders are flat. You can have your pillow underneath the head. So engage through tummy and pelvic floor. Keep the same bend in the knee. Breathe out to low as you flatten the ribcage, flatten the abdominals, and breathe in to raise. Take as long to lower the leg as you do to lift the leg. Breathing out to lower, get that closing through the rib cage, and a deep breath into raise. So on that breath out, engaging tummy and pelvic floor. Now, if you would like a challenge, squeeze your knees together and lower both heels to the floor, but make sure that your back is pressed onto the floor and not lifting off. So you can make it easier by not actually touching the floor, but if you're really battling with that one, make sure that you do drop back to the easier one. And also, if you're not engaging through the pelvic floor, go back to that easier one. Breathing out as you lower and a deep breath in as you lift. So get that closing of the rib cage on your breath out, engaging through tummy and pelvic floor, deep breath in as you raise. Make sure that you're bracing by pulling in with the abdominals, never brace by pushing out with the abdominals. Always flattening through the abdominals, supporting your spine. Breathing out to lower and a deep breath in to raise, and one more with each leg. And last two if you're doing a double leg. And hug your knees closer to the chest. Okay, we're going to sit up and do rollbacks. So we're really concentrating on the tucking, the pelvic tilt when we do these rollbacks, and keeping the same angle at the knees so that you isolate into the tummy. So you can use your band if you're finding it hard to do. Now, for any time you're starting to feel it in your back, that's because you're rolling back with a straight back instead of curving into the back. But if you're not able to hold the correct position while still feeling your back, you can at any stage drop back to perfect abdominal curl, knees together, feet flexed and apart, interlink the fingers, either squeezing ribs to hips or hands on opposite shoulders. And otherwise, your rollbacks. So using the band will make it easier, holding hand weights will make it easier. Lock your knees together, make sure that you're constantly squeezing those inner thighs. Flex your feet strongly, draw shoulder blades into pocket. Look at the abdominals, keep your neck in the right position, just halfway back. Now get that lifting, that tucking with the pelvis. Squeeze your knees, work from your center, squeeze ribs to hips to bring yourself up. Make sure you're not hunched and rounded, draw those shoulders back. Just halfway back, keep that same bend, no straightening. Get the tucking, the lifting of the tailbone, and squeeze ribs to hips. Now you can take yourself down as low as you can. We keep that same angle, and where you can still bring yourself back up again. Now going a little faster, keeping in time with me, but keep good posture. So on that roll back, engaging through tummy and pelvic floor, a deep breath in. And on that last breath out, engage through tummy and pelvic floor again. So it's each time on the movement, engage through the pelvic floor. Breathing out as you roll back, get that tucking, tucking, tucking. Deep breath in, and a last breath out to help you out. Sink into the hips, curve into your back. Squeeze ribs to hips to bring yourself up. Tucking, 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 getting a smooth roll down. Squeeze the inner thighs, squeeze ribs to hips. Breathing out to roll back, deep breath in, and a last breath out to help you out. Sink into the hips, tuck with the pelvis, and squeeze ribs to hips on your way. Curve into your back, keep tucking, 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 so it's a smooth roll down, and squeeze ribs to hips. Peel your spine. Make sure your knees are still squeezed together. And you're working from your center, squeezing ribs to hips to bring yourself back up again. Use your breathing. Breathe out to roll back. Deep breath in and a last breath out to help you up. You are nearly there. Haven't forgotten you. Do your last one, roll down and stay down. Now comes a nice partial stretch. Just reaching your arms up and overhead and aim to get the whole body as flat onto the floor as possible. So pressing the back of the arms to the floor, pelvic tilt, press your lower back down. Your shoulder blades are pressed into the floor, back of the legs up to the floor. Straighten your elbows, straighten your knees. And easing out of that. And we'll do one more abdominal one. We'll do the double leg stretch. And for a challenge, we can lower those legs. And once again, engaging through the pelvic floor. So now, if your neck is sore, or you're battling to engage through the pelvic floor, you're better off keeping your head down on your cushion. So I'll just show you the basic and then your added variations. If you'd like a challenge, holding onto your hand weights now. So lengthen away, lift the buttocks up, move them out the way, maintain your pelvic tilt as you did with the previous one. So to make it easier, feet are above the buttocks, knees are bent, legs are up more vertically. If you'd like a challenge, flex the feet, toes together, heels apart, knees are straight, legs are lowered. So either head resting down or head lifted, backs of the hands together, keep the head absolutely still as you circle, and 2 circles and knees to the chest. While you are circling, you are engaging through tummy and pelvic floor. Now your added variation, 1 circle, arms and legs up vertically. You can lower the legs just to where your lower back is still imprinted. Raise the legs back up again. Finish your circle, knees to the chest. If you're already finding it challenging and finding it hard to engage through the pelvic floor, you will do your easier variation. Just keep that head down, 2 circles, but make sure that you're pulling in and pressing the back down. Doing it with me. So once again, also if your neck is sore, keep your head resting down. Lifting head and shoulders, 2 of the 2 circles in your added variation. Lifting legs, legs lowered for a challenge, backs of the hands together, brush past the ears. Make sure you're engaging through tummy and pelvic floor, 2 large circles, and knees to the chest. Lifting head and shoulders, extending the legs. If you're lifting the head, tuck the chin and look at the knees. Keep the abdominals pulled in and flattened. 2 large circles. If your back is sore, remember to keep those legs up more vertically. 2 circles, knees to the chest. Now your added variation, remember you can stick with that basic. Lifting head and shoulders, extending the legs. Legs lowered for a challenge. 1 circle, arms and legs up vertically. Lower the legs to where your lower back is still imprinted. Squeeze core and inner thighs and pelvic floor. Finish your circle and knees to the chest. Lifting head and shoulders, extending the legs. Backs of the hands together, brush past the ears. Arms and legs vertically. Engage tummy and pelvic floor. Breathing out to lower. Squeeze core and inner thighs as you lift. Finish your circle and knees to the chest. Lifting head and shoulders, extending the legs. Nice big circle with the arms and legs up vertically. Breathing out to lower and a deep breath in to lift. Beeline to finish your circle and knees to the chest. Lifting head and shoulders, extending the legs. Squeeze the inner thighs, pinch the buttocks, arms and legs vertically. Breathe out, you flatten through the ribcage, flatten the abdominals. Squeeze core and pelvic floor as you lift. Beeline to finish and knees to the chest. Lifting head and shoulders, extending the legs. Big circle with the arms and legs up vertically. Breathing out as you lower and a deep breath in as you lift. Finish your circle, knees to the chest. You have 1 more. Lifting head and shoulders, extending legs. Big circle with the arms and legs vertically. Beeline as you lower. Engage through tummy and pelvic floor as you lift. Finish your circle and hug your knees in place. Squeezing the knees to your chest. With your knees a circle, massage into your lower back. Reverse your circle. sitting up. And just do a couple of stretches. Now you can, we're going to stretch through the inner thighs with the legs out wide, you can sit on top of your cushion. So we're wanting to hinge forwards and tip forwards from the pelvis. If you lock back like that, you're better off sitting on a cushion so that you can try to tip forwards. So feet are flexed, knees are straight, big toes to the ceiling, and it's with the straight back that you hinge forwards. Just breathe through the stretch, relax into it, don't force it. Try to tip forwards from your pelvis. Squeeze the core to ankle. Now turning to face towards your leg, cross your hands over, hold the thigh where you comfortably can. If you're finding it really challenging, you can use your band around the foot to gently pull yourself in. So lengthen through the crown of the head towards your toes. Keep your knee lock nice and straight and make sure that you're facing towards that straight leg as much as possible. So you will feel that stretching through your side and in through the hamstring. It may come slightly into the lower back as well. Now squeeze the core, keep facing that leg as you uncurl and across to the other side. Cross your hands over and gently pulling chest to thigh. Make sure that your foot stays up vertically. Breathe through your stretch, just relaxing into it, not forcing it. Squeeze the core and uncurl to the upright. And we're going to do a spiral stretch. Now you can sit cross-legged, but if you'd like a little bit more of a challenge, doing it with me, you'll have your left leg out straight, your right leg up and over, and you can also bend that one. And hugging that right thigh towards your chest, turning to your right hand side. So hug that thigh as close as you can. Keep your torso upright. Press the right buttock back onto the floor. So feel the stretching through the upper back, and as you hug that thigh as close to your chest as possible, and through that right buttock as well. Hug that thigh a little closer to your chest. Grow taller. Breathe. And untwisting. So remember, we have the left leg out straight. Now we have the right leg out straight. Left leg up and over. You can bend that one as well. And hugging that left thigh as close to your chest as possible, turning to the left hand side. Get that thigh in a little closer and press the left buttock back onto the floor. Grow taller, straighten your spine, relax your shoulders. Breathe through the stretch. Relax into that twist on your breakout. And easing out of that. Okay. We'll be on all fours for the next one. If you do have sore wrists though, you can do your swimming with your line flat on the floor, so I'll just show you both. So your swimming is just this one, your usual one, your one arm, one leg. We draw those tummy muscles away from the floor. Just moving that chair, don't feel like stubbing my toe. Good. All right. Otherwise, on all fours, wrist in underneath the shoulder, knees run underneath the hips, engage to tummy and pelvic floor. Now keep your pelvis stable. Don't let it rock from side to side. We'll just do a few of the easier ones. So one arm, one leg. Flex your foot. Make sure that your heel is in line with your hip. Toes are facing down. Hand in line with your shoulder. Shoulder away from the ear. And a soft elbow. Push out through the heels. Squeeze the buttocks. Hold, hold, hold. and change sides. Remember to spread your fingers wide, press your fingers into the floor. Push out through your heel, shoulder away from the ear, engage through tummy and pelvic floor as you did for the hover. So holding for about the count between 3 and 5, shoulder away from the ear, and make sure that you're squeezing the buttocks and engaging through the pelvic floor as well. So just stick with the easier one for the minute so that you do concentrate on engaging through that pelvic floor as well. Push out through your heel. Okay. Now you can continue with that. If you'd like a little bit more of a challenge, we're going to be doing a balance one, but no falling over. Okay. So, which one is the best one? So it's still that same start position. It's going to be that one arm, one leg. Keep the heel where it is, but thread in through. Get your shoulder low to the floor, reach out through your heel, and it's like a push-up, elbows above your wrist. So engage through tummy and pelvic floor. Notice when you engage through the pelvic floor as well, you are a lot more stable. Holding anything between from the count of 10 to 15 each side. But really concentrate on pelvic floor. If that's too much for you, just continue with your basic. So make sure you are in this position. Don't start with the hands out there, and don't lift that leg any higher. So that heel stays at the level of the hip. Does not lift up. You'll do a forward roll and hurt yourself. None of that. So make sure it is opposite sides as well. Thread it through. Now squeeze the core and engage through that pelvic floor. Holding, holding, holding. And change sides. Keep your elbow above your wrist. Make sure that you have got opposite sides. Don't put that leg any higher. It's like a push-up. You need to bend that arm. If it's too challenging, drop back to your easier one. Really concentrate on pelvic floor. Notice how engaging through the pelvic floor improves your stability. Thread it through, get your shoulder nice and low, look towards the fingers that you are reaching with. Keep your elbow above your wrist on your supporting arm. One more to each side. Looks like you're having way too much fun out there. No falling over, Trish. So don't lift that leg too high. Squeeze core and pelvic floor. Squeeze the buttocks and release out of that. Just give your wrists a little shake. So I hope you did notice that when you engage through the pelvic floor as well, you're much more stable. So the pelvic floor is part of your core. And while we are in this position, we will do the fire hydrant. And if that is too much for your wrists, you can lie down on your side and do your clam instead. Your feet, your knees are bent forwards, feet are more or less in line with the body, and squeeze through the buttocks. Keep those hips vertically stacked. Lift from your knee, but squeeze through those buttocks. So that's your alternative if it's sort of to be on all fours. Shoulders away from your ears, no hunching, squeeze your core, get that leg up, your calf should be parallel to the floor. So you are breathing out to lift, squeezing through the buttocks, breathe into low. Looking down towards the floor, but do have a little check to make sure that you're not lifting up like that. Your calf should be parallel to the floor, your foot should be flexed. Squeeze the buttocks, squeeze core and pelvic floor. Breathing out to lift, breathing in to lower. Are you starting to hunch through those shoulders? Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Keep soft elbows. Well done, Sandra. Looks like you're doing a good job there. Okay. I've nearly lost count. One more. And other side. So give those wrists a little shake. Now check that your leg is your calf parallel to the floor, shoulders away from the ears, squeeze the buttocks. So a little hold, squeeze core and pelvic floor, breathe in to lower. Breathing out to lift, breathing in to lower. Looking down towards the floor, keep your chin tucked in, don't let the head start to drop. Squeeze through the buttocks as you raise. One more. And release it down. Just give those wrists a little shake. And we'll be lying over onto our stomachs. You can hold on to hand weights if you'd like more of a challenge. So palms facing inwards, feet are shoulder distance. So keep your wrist nice and straight. Make sure you're not curling it and holding the wrist at a strange angle. And concentrate on triceps, upper back and lower back. Legs are wide, mat distance apart. Breathe in to lift and breathing out to lower. Keep looking down towards the floor. Head comes along for the ride. As you raise up, reach hands for toes. Breathe in to lift, breathing out to lower. If you need to, just do a small lift, keep it small and subtle if your back is sore. Breathing in as you raise, breathing out to lower. Now as you raise, engage through pelvic floor. So putting tummy and pelvic floor in as you lift. Breathing in to lift and breathing out to lower. Pinch your shoulder blades, don't forget to squeeze into the upper back. Breathing in as you raise, out as you lower. No pulling from the neck. Head comes along for the ride. Breathing in as you raise, out to lower with one more. Release it gently. And we'll do Pilates breaststroke. So first of all, just the legs, forehead resting on the hands, feet are flexed and turned out. Remember, if your back is sore, now's a good time to pop your towel in underneath your stomach to better support your back. So breath out with each squeeze, your thighs are just up off the floor. So as you squeeze those legs together, engage through tummy, buttocks, inner thighs, and pelvic floor. So it's a last breath out, so it's percussion breathing. Try and keep your knees nice and straight. Make sure that you are getting that engaging through tummy and pelvic floor. But you're also working buttocks and inner thighs. Have a short rest. Now you can move the arms as well, but if you're finding that you're battling to engage through the pelvic floor, just stick with the forehead resting on the hands. If you are doing the arms, it's straight arms, nice strong movement, squeezing an imaginary orange and underneath your armpit. Just make sure your things are out of the way. All right. So it's still a breath out with each squeeze of the legs and a nice strong movement with the arms. As you squeeze those legs in, engaging through tummy and pelvic floor. Have a short rest. And another set when you are ready. Flex and turn out. Nice strong movement with the arms. A breath out with each squeeze of your legs. Release it gently. Back extensions, flexibility into your lower back. So make sure that your hands are next to your shoulders, onto your forearms, onto the hands. So keep bending into the lower back, back into your elbows and down. You've got a sore back and it's a little bit harsh on the lower back. Take your hands a little further forwards and just go up as high as you comfortably can. As you start to loosen up, try to gradually take yourself higher, but just nudging into discomfort. Deep breath in to push up. Tuck your elbows in, no hunching with those shoulders. Squeeze core and pelvic floor. Breathing out as you lower. So deep breath in, engaging through tummy and pelvic floor. And breathing out as you lower. Deep breath in to lift. And breathing out to lower. Head just comes along for the ride, no pulling upwards with your neck. Those shoulders down, no hunching. Keep your elbows tucked in. Push it up, hold it here for a moment. Make sure that you're not up like that. Shoulders away from the ears. Bend your elbows, stop just before the floor. Tuck those elbows in closer to your torso, as low to the floor as you can be without touching. Engage through tummy and pelvic floor. Holding, holding, holding. Back, don't go down yet. Release it gently and into rest position. So back onto the heels and flatten the spine. Easing out of that, going to do some bridging. So I'll give you the basic or the more challenging variation. And just remember, I'm trying to engage through the pelvic floor as well. So the basic, good one for sore lower back. So feel free to snack on this a few times a day if you have a sore lower back. Make sure that your palms are facing up, no pillow underneath the head. Your feet are nice and straight, they're about a fist width apart. Now isolate your muscles, engage through tummy and pelvic floor. Flatten your lower back, make sure you're pulling in and not bracing out. And hold it there a moment. Now when you lift up, then you squeeze the buttocks. Get movement through the spine, heel the spinal. Maintain the tuck with the pelvis. Don't go into an arch. Squeeze the buttocks tight. Squeeze in from the inner thighs as if you're holding something between the knees. Tuck with the pelvis. Roll your spine down. And the last thing you do is release through the pelvic tilt. Make sure that you have relaxed tummy and pelvic floor. So pelvic tilt, engaging tummy and pelvic floor. Hold it there a moment. Make sure your lower back is pressed flat. Now squeeze the buttocks. If your back is sore, you can lift up just a little amount and gradually nudge yourself up higher. So tummy and pelvic floor are still in. Squeezing buttocks, squeezing inner thighs, and tuck with the pelvis. Roll it down. Last thing you do is release through the tuck. So relax the tummy and pelvic floor once you're at the bottom. And otherwise, join me for a few of the more challenging ones. Make sure your hands are facing forwards. So push your hips up high, squeeze the buttocks tight, soft elbows. Now while you're holding it here, engage tummy and pelvic floor, and release it down. So make sure that you have engaged tummy and pelvic floor. Squeeze the buttocks, squeeze in from the inner thighs, release down gently. Breathing out to push up, engaging tummy and pelvic floor, breathing out to lower. Squeeze the buttocks tight, push your hips up to the ceiling, soft elbows, release down gently. So engaging tummy and pelvic floor, lift it up, squeeze those buttocks tight, squeeze in from your inner thighs, release down gently. push your hips up high. Try to get that straight line from your shoulder to your knee. Pushing those hips up to the ceiling. Make sure you're keeping soft elbows, keeping your shoulder blades pinched. Press those hips up high. Squeezing core and pelvic floor and inner thighs and buttocks. Breathing out to lift and breathing in to lower. One more. Push those hips up. Release it down. Give your wrists a little shake and hug your knees into the chest. Just squeezing those thighs in. Give your knees a circle. Reverse your circle. Okay. So we're going to be doing the arms now. So I'm just going to show you why we are doing it on the floor for a change. So sometimes when we are doing arm exercises with the hand weights, we're not even aware that we're starting to sway through the back. So often I watch people, and as they're lifting up, they're having a little sway through into the back. Or otherwise they're just keeping that sway as they lean back and push up. So now with the floor against your back, you are more aware of keeping your body in that correct position. You will maintain that your natural curve, so your body stays still as you simply isolate and push up towards the ceiling, as opposed to doing it with that little sway or overarching through the back, all those different positions. So be aware of your position and think about your back and what's happening with that pelvic tilt while you're doing the arms. All right. And as I said, some heavier weights if you have got them. So first of all, we'll just work a bit of the flexibility of your shoulders. And we're going to be in this position on the floor. So what we're aiming at is trying to get that full rotation of the shoulders. And sometimes we tighten, we more like that. So we're aiming to get the hand back onto the floor. You can hold some small hand weights to help get you down flat. Make sure that your knees are bent, because if your legs are out straight, you're going to already be in that larger arch. So lengthen into your back, be aware of the pressure on the tailbone. Elbow out in line with your shoulder, and try to get those wrists as flat onto the floor as possible. So you're going to be pushing down with three things here. The back of the head so that you tuck the chin in and make a double chin, and press the wrist and the elbow into the floor. Make sure you're not arching away from the floor, and you'll feel that squeeze in the upper back. Push the floor away from you, hold, 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 and then relax, but still stay in that position. So it's just an isometric contraction. You're not actually moving, but you feel those muscles contracting. Tuck your chin in, press down with the wrist and the elbow. So that whole forearm is being pressed into the floor. Feel those muscles between your shoulder blades contract, with no arching away from the floor. Make sure you beeline to stabilize, and then relax. Keep doing that in your own time. You're holding for about the count of 3. So tucking in, flatten through the curve of the neck, and press wrist and elbow into the floor. Try to get those wrists down as flat as possible. So some of you may be there. Just gradually lift those weights, or actively try to push it down within the limits of discomfort of those shoulders. Push into the floor. Hold, 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 and relax. Okay, so now this one is a good one to snack on if you do find you're up there, because then you're not getting that full rotation. So each day, try to just spend some time on the floor getting that full rotation of your shoulders. Just put your hand weights down for a moment, and we'll do angel wings. Make sure you've got some room to slide your hands. And so be aware of your pelvic tilt, just having your natural curve, not a pelvic tilt, but not swaying into your back. Keep your chin tucked in and slide your hands in an arc up to your head. Now, if you are tight, you can either just nudge into it, okay, so that you feel that stretching through the pec, or you can lift the arm off the floor to complete your circle. And as soon as you're able to, bring that arm back down and stop back at shoulder level. So just working within your limits. Same thing, if those shoulders are tight, you can snack on this one, make sure that you do it each day, and gradually loosen up a little bit. So your chin is tucked in, be aware of those curves, keep your shoulder blades pressed to the floor so you're not arching off the floor, and aim your wings. So to 90 and back up, and keep your elbows nice and straight, elbows as straight as possible. All right, now holding on to hand weights. So a bit of strengthening. Now, so maintain so that you still have your natural curve. Tummy is in, shoulders are away from the ears, elbows are soft. Take the hands out directly, shoulder level, and squeeze back in. Breathing out to open, breathe in to close. So make sure that you are beelining, and also as you open the arms, engage through tummy and pelvic floor, and relax as you raise back up again. Engage through tummy and pelvic floor as you lift. Keep your chin tucked in. You should be looking forwards at a 45-degree angle. And no hunching with your shoulders, and your elbows should be soft. That's all happening out there. I hope you can still hear me before that equipment making a noise. Breathing out to lower, deep breath in to raise. No hunching. And now bring your wrist, so your wrist is above your shoulder. Keep your elbows still and bend and straighten. Straighten up completely. Concentrate on your triceps. Now, as you push up to the ceiling, engage through tummy and pelvic floor. Breathe out, engaging tummy and pelvic floor as you lift. Keep your chin tucked in and be aware of what's happening at your lower back. Make sure that you're not starting to arch further away from the floor. Maintain your natural curves. No hunching with those shoulders. And keep your elbows nice and still. So you're concentrating on working your triceps. So as you straighten completely, squeeze into those triceps with the back of the arms working. Okay. Now press your weights together. Now when the arms go overhead, you're not wanting to arch in through the back. So you need to be like really strong. You should feel those tummy muscles working. Keep your chin tucked in, weights are squeezed together. Now, if you do have a sore shoulder, you may want to just use one weight now, and just go back as low as you comfortably can. So for some of you, that might be there. Now, so just your shoulders will hunch as you go over here. As you come up, initiate the movement from the shoulder, push the shoulder blade down towards the hip to lift the arm back up again. So you are breathing out to nose, you get that closing through the rib cage, and a deep breath in as you lift. So breathe out, close through the rib cage, don't let the rib cage dome out, and a deep breath in as you raise. So maintain those natural curves, don't let your back arch as you take those arms over here. So engaging through tummy and pelvic floor as you lower, and a deep breath in as you lift. Breathing out as you lower, flattening through the abdominals, flattening through the rib cage. Push your shoulder blades down towards the hips as you raise. Breathing out to lower, and a deep breath in to lift. Make sure as you raise back up again, initiate the movement from your shoulder joint. Press the shoulder blades down towards the hips. Breathing out to lower, deep breath in to raise. And stopping, we're going to pop the arms back. Actually, for a change, we will lie on our sides. It'll be your last shoulder one. We lie on our sides, working the rotator cuff. So whole upper body in a nice straight line, knees are bent forwards, and tuck your elbow in, rotate with the forearm. Okay, so stop at 90 and rotate with the forearm. So you're working through the rotator cuff. You may need a lighter weight if you've got a sore shoulder or even no weight at all. Breathing out to raise, breathing in to lower. So as you lift that weight, engage through tummy and pelvic floor. So it's on the effort of lifting, make sure that you are drawing upwards with the pelvic floor. Because if you're not tending to draw up, you're tending to bear down. If you're bearing down, you're weakening and not strengthening. We've got one more. And over onto the other side. So whole upper body in a straight line, knees are bent forwards, hips are vertically stacked, tucking with your pelvis. Keep your shoulder blade in pocket. Start with the hand out parallel and rotate up and back down to that position. So just moving through a small range of movement, breathing out to lift, breathing in to lower. Keep yourself vertically stacked. Don't start to roll over backwards. Now hunching with your shoulders. As you lift that weight, engage through tummy and pelvic floor. Breathing out to lift and breathing in to lower. Are you noticing one arm is weaker than the other with this one? And last one. And relax that down. And standing. Standing spine roll. So, hope that did make you concentrate on those small things which do help to make the exercises more effective. And it is important not to just hear me say, engage the pelvic floor, but to remember to actually do it. Because sometimes when you have been doing the class for a while, you can get sloppy and think you know what you're doing and let the mind wander, but you are going to get a more effective workout if you concentrate on one of the main first principles of Pilates. So deep breath in, grow taller, breathing out, roll it down. Notice how far down you're reaching, using those abdominals to support your spine and curl to the front. So tummy in, tailbone down, shoulder blades are in pocket, just giving the neck a stretch. Looking over your shoulder and over the other side, dropping your back and chin to chest, ear to shoulder, gentle pull, press down through the heel of the hand. And to the other side, ear to shoulder, clasp your hands, pinch your shoulder blades, lift those arms up as high as you can, and release nice large circles. Walk tall and have a great week. Well done.